This is the Rocky Outcrop Show. It's not the Outcrop Rocky Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more, but it's not your show. This is the Rocky Outcrop Show. Good morning, Stonk Seekers. How are you? How are you this morning? It is very good to see you. I can see we've got Lepton, Cockroach, Rancher. Good to see you, Aaron. Good, got Fridge, Lepton. I said that already. Guitar outside. Bad Mama Jamma. Let's go! Harley Hellcat, Trade Spotting, Kieran Norman, Ms. All y'all. It's time to be inspired. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. We have got to do 11 squats. Let's get them done. Come on. Come on. Up. Get up off your seat. I know. It sucks. I know. It's morning. It's first thing in the morning. And I'm telling you. But we'll just get them out of the way now. Okay? Let's do it. One. Two. Three. 4. Ask the grass people. 5. 7. 8. 9. 10. Hold it. Hold. Last one. Last one. Make it a good one. Last one. Oh. What we do on the show here, if you're just joining us for the first time, is we talk about financial markets, we do technical analysis and educate each other with regards to technical analysis, investing, trading, and becoming self-reliant. Thanks too much to everybody who went along with the squats with me. Yeah, so at some point in the future, I'll be able to do them without feeling wrecked afterwards. At some point in the future, you'll be able to look at a chart without feeling overwhelmed. We're going to meet somewhere in the middle, I think. Thanks so much for joining me. Good morning, everybody. Milk was a bad choice. Good on yous. Thanks, Katie. Good on, everybody. That's awesome. I like that. Thanks so much. Tomorrow, 12 squats? I don't know, Joe. I don't know. Keep going like that. I'll be doing 300 squats in a minute. I don't know. I honestly don't know. We're all in this together. Is there anybody out there having a hard time doing them? You know? Squats getting easier every day? Brilliant. Nice one. They're getting a bit easier for me too. Doing 11 now. Oh, Rant's in here as well with us. Good morning, mate. Good morning, America. Good morning, my friends. We're going to take things a little bit easier today. And focus on this idea of inspiration, if we can. you do some walking cardio before those squats, will be much less exhausting. Good tip. I'll do a bit of that. I'll try that. Good stuff, brother, says Dama Majama. Good stuff to you. Make volume a bit low. Okay. Maybe that's a bit better. Just a little. I think it's as much as I've got left in the can at the minute. I can turn the music down. We all have goals in life, you know? Well, actually, we don't all have goals in life. A lot of people go through life without any goals. I think as a group here, we've got some goals that we can identify. Goals are important. One of the goals that we have, I think, I say, as a collective group here, is to try and have a delible impact in the world in a positive way. That's a good thing to do. So these are the things that inspire us. So let me know what your goals are in the chat. We can have inspiring conversation. We'll try and keep everybody inspired today as much as possible. We can talk about things that are inspiring. Yes. Tea can be inspiring too. We look at charts on the show. We like to look at charts. That's quite hard to see, in fact, what's going on there. But there's quite a lot going on there. For the last week or so, I've been using white-only candles. If you're just joining us, this is a way of forcing people to really consider the information that they're looking at properly and try and split things up into their component parts. So one of the messages that I got recently from somebody talked about how they were unable to understand the DMI until it actually changed the color. This is the Rocky Outcrop EMA. Until it actually changed the color of the thing to white. Before they were getting distracted by all of the colors. We'll change it back to white again. Isn't it amazing sometimes how challenging yourself just a little bit can lead to greater understanding and that can increase your abilities and you can become stronger just from challenges. It's wonderful stuff. Here's a challenge for you. Can you interpret that DMI when it's all white? It's fantastic that that person could. Your candles are racist. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That's right. Meditation has been a game changer. Also getting sober clean at 21, almost 20 years ago. Well done, J.O. Well done. Well, hope you don't mind me filling up your beer mug with beer. Alcohol-free beer, mate. Alcohol-free beer that's in that one. Good to see you, Pam. Good morning, family. On him, gents. My newest goal: leave no man behind, but leave no man where. Leave no man behind, but leave no man where you find him. Eh? Nice one. Nice one. Oi, good morning, Darth Vivenna. It's lovely to see you. Change the icon, everybody, in the Discord to a dinosaur instead of a poop. Ha! So we'll be looking at financial news as well today. We'll figure out the financial news together. I've not actually organized it in advance, so we'll just do that together. Got the usual thing to look at. We'll check and see what reason the stocks have to be moving today, as according to journalists. That'll be good. Nice to see Apple. I was thinking about starting a local charity to help people get laser tattoo removal. Sometimes poor tattoo decisions can hold you back from moving forward in your life. How cool is that? Something that I wouldn't have thought of that myself. That's really cool. It's really cool. I hope to one day create a company, says Lepton Inc., that focuses on developing and producing flying cars. I've already started with a small-scale RC car. Big things have small beginnings. That's cool. That's cool. planning your whole company out in the future. Small RC car. Small things start, big things start with small beginnings. What happened to the timer for chapters? What happened to the timer for chapters? It's up there. It's up there. It's just a little bit. Is it a bit too small? I'd say it's maybe a bit too small up there, is it? Let's make it a bit bigger. Apologies. It's Streamlabs, you know, or Stream Element. It's just like what it does is it takes the size that your browser is on your screen and it stretches it out and whatever and stuff like that. Bad things can happen. I think that's probably visible enough. Visible enough, more or less. Keep me informed if it's not. Aye. So that's cool. Nice one. Good stuff so far from people out there. The pain is real, says Daniel. Yes, the pain is real. It is. That is what. Good morning, big whoopsies. Well, for tattoos, not questionable tattoos. Yeah, I'm sure it must be. The charts are terrible if you're colorblind, but you can change the lines to dot plots rather than colors. Interesting. Good stuff for tip for colorblind people coming out from TradeSpot in there. Ah, Streamlabs is deleting Pam the Trader's messages. That's a nice heart. Thanks so much for that one. And a wave. Why Streamlabs being so mean to you, Pam? I don't know why or Stream Elements or whatever it is, Streamlabs. Don't know why it's being so mean. Pam, that's so unfair. I don't know why that is, okay? It seems to be targeting you. It's bullying you. Don't know why. This exercise is awesome. Relatively easy, but makes you use your brain without aids. Yes, that's it. Trying to use your brain. Trying to inspire people. Positivity all the way here with everybody. So we'll be looking at our favorite stocks. GameStop's one of them. Yesterday, actually floated all the way back down to the 184 price point. I bemoaned missing my order at 186 yesterday. Was able to laugh with Shake Your Booty about being able to get in there yesterday afternoon had I wanted to. Be moaning about it when it was up above that 197 level. You can see that we've been struggling to reach above the 236 Fibonacci retracement. Let's see if we can actually conquer 192 today. Conquer 192, chop off its head, stake its head on the gate beside our palisade. Let all the other hedgies know what we're all about. AMC over here. Yesterday's news, Fed meeting, happy market, Chinese fear market. Bit tied between the two. We'll be able to update these lines when we check out Yahoo News in a minute or two. Big whoopsies, Cockroach Rancher chatting with each other. Yeah, born and raised here for me. Nice to know more about you. Chatting about where you are from and stuff like that. That's cool. Dan Lesage says, going to build a studio and give blues guitar clinics to black kids who aren't taught it's their heritage and underprivileged kids. I'll give them guitars if they complete the course. There we go. What a nice guy Daniel Lesage is, by the way. He really is a nice guy. Might be a complete weirdo in his super chats. Might be. Makes us all laugh. Tell you somebody that inspired me. Sasha. Observe thyself. There you are out there too. Nice to see you. She says right now, I didn't have time to watch you this morning, but gave a video the thumbs up and a wee purple heart there. What a lovely lady. Sasha. Here I am. Whoops. Not doing a very good job showing off my hair, am I, Sash? Kevin Murphy's hair conditioner in here last night. Tried it last night. Still not properly dried. I just tied my hair up when I went to bed, you know. I don't sleep very long. Put it on my hair and I thought, wow. It feels good. You know, normally I put conditioner on my hair and it kind of just sits on the hair, you know. The hair just stays exactly the same. The conditioner's on it. You wash the conditioner off and it's kind of like neither here nor there. Put that stuff on last night. And as I was putting it on, I thought, wow, this is actually all right. Now my hair's so dried out, not had any conditioner or anything on there. I treated it very badly for the last, well, pretty much 36 years now. Ah, trying that. Apologies to everybody out there who notices that my teeth look very bad, by the way, as well. It's the white balance in part. Need to kind of fix that. Should maybe put my light on as whatever. Change the color, temperature, so that white balance fixes up a bit. Focus on my face. Right. Hey, follow the instructions. Lol, no touchy. Yeah, no touchy. No touchy at all. No touchy at all. I can't. I don't like the way my hair is right now. Right. But I'll follow the instructions from now on. I have to go back and read the message you sent me with them in there as well. Brilliant stuff. People inspiring each other all the time. Now, it might be something as small as just having better hair, but stuff like that can change your confidence, you know? I highly recommend people to do stuff like that. Having been confident and feeling good about yourself is extremely important. This S on the AMC chart that's behind my head that you can't see because I don't have the charts open, so just a second here. This S was floating around a gap that we had over here. We had two gaps, you know, when the prices looked like they could crack on up the way. We're talking about how, you know, it didn't fill this in, had a little kind of fake out, if you like, up towards the 52 $53 area, and on the way back down we've left this other gap on here, so I'm just going to pop that wee S in so we can see it. Don't take our eyes off it too much. Here's Joe giving us a JO. Do you believe in the FOMO as an indicator for SPY and corrections? If so, can you educate us on it a bit? No, not really, to be honest with you. I'll have to look into it though more. I have to look into it more. So first off, the answer should really be I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'll endeavor to try and find out for you, matey, and then we can talk about it in the future. Do you believe the FOMO as an indicator for the SPY? Now, excuse me, I don't really believe in I don't believe in indicators necessarily that strongly for particular markets necessarily. There are some instances where some things will work better than others, for sure. When it comes to the SPY, we were talking about this recently over the last couple of months with regards to the upside price action having divergence, etc., on there along the way, and talking about market structure, talking about hidden bullish divergences that were appearing along the way as well, and just kind of understanding the market dynamics. Really, when you kind of understand market dynamics like fully and you're integrated with them and accept it, then it's like Neo from the Matrix, and you don't necessarily go looking for a particular indicator. Now, there are indicators, leading indicators and all sorts. Oh, look at that. What's that? That's cool. Did you just upgrade or something? I don't really know what it says there. Kitty Babes, member for 3 months, early supporter plus. Did that maybe just happen during the show or something? I don't know what this is, but I like it. More hair vanity shots, please. Good evening, Ben. Yeah, so we were talking about the hidden bullish divergences along the way up here, and the contrast between the hidden bearish divergence, or the visible bearish divergences that were along the way, and asking questions as to whether or not we would see movement up again. The question that remains on the chart, if you're going to have one with regards to that concept right now, is this low over here that we had in it around about the 19th and 20th of July, and the low that we've currently had with regards to the RSI over here, and the two lows, this one that had already circled in before, and whether or not that will actually add up to being hidden bullish divergence. As you can see, these are the more significant lows in the market. So anyway, FOMO. It's been a long time since I've talked to or looked at it, right? So and I can't just go FOMO on there. So by all means, you know, get in touch with me via the Discord, etc., and we can discuss this in more detail. And then afterwards, I can certainly look into it and then educate you back the way, etc. If it reinvigorates something in my brain and I can kind of tell you something I've known in the past, then brilliant. And if it doesn't, and I need to investigate it, then we can do that together as well. Katie did a super chat. Katie did a super chat. Thank you so much, Katie. I don't understand though. 3 months it came up. It said 3 months. So strange. I've never seen that on YouTube before. It's sometimes good with the TD sequential, says Jamie. Oh, there we go. Jamie knows it. It's a vortex indicator. The VOEX, vortex. Yes, that's what's reminding me of course. And Jamie and I talked about this in the past together with each other. It's a relatively new indicator. I've only really seen it. Others use it on SPY and Bitcoin. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about there recently enough. Right. Sorry, man. I would love to go into more detail on that, but I can't, and I'm not going to bullshit you. What's flare? What flare? I honestly don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know. Salamander, member for 3 months. Guys, click super chat. There's a free bragging rights thing. Love you guys. Wow. Wow. That's cool. Everybody, take advantage. Take advantage. Enjoy it. Quality. Thanks so much. Excellent. That's really cool. Vortex. What do you say, Sasha? Vortex hole. Streamlabs got you. 1 second. Right. Ooh, look at me. Hi, friends. Brilliant. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. So other stocks that we're interested in of late, and Bad Mama Jama's in the chat here. AHT. Has it done enough? Has it done enough with this recent drop down that it had? And have we got, come on here, 1 hour time frame, and we're back at the moving averages right here and now. And not only are we back at the moving averages, but we're at, let me just remove that. Well, we're back at the moving averages, right? We're back up above that C point of that pattern that was there before. We did push on down a fair whack, having gone in for that 1618 pretty much perfectly. Check it out. Look at his everviews. I'm so happy to see you here. So happy. Thanks so much. That is inspiring. Look at all these people that have been members for 3 months as well. It's so lovely. 4 months, 5 months from Bad Mama Jama. It's just really massively appreciated. 5 months. A lot can happen in 5 months, right? So from that high then, from that D point down to that low point where we eventually came in at, we're at the 50%, which is what I was trying to say before. It kind of seemed to be the 50% to me looking at it, but I don't know why I couldn't read that, and it was 786. I think that's because it was the measurement to find that 1618 or the 1272 or whatever it was that it went down to. One of those typical Fibonacci retracement points that you'd look to. Where we are at the 50% line, 1441. That's good. Things are positive and they're above $14. We're back into the mid-range of the overall kind of flux territory that there's been in after trying to sort of quote unquote find a bottom here in this market. Movements down the way. Yes, we pushed up outside and in fact, you know, come up and challenge these prior highs. Unable to break them so far. This is still technically a lower high. Come in here and, you know, at some point, if we actually take out our prior highs, which was the lower high, which is taking out the, you know, if we actually get closes at $16, for example, on this one, then we can start saying, look, we've actually got a tentative trend on the go, having turned this around, and maybe that is just what has to happen. This is the way that markets tend to go. The prices always seek equilibrium. There's never a time when markets actually have the exact correct price for something, unless you're looking at something like US dollar tether to US dollar crypto dollar, synthetic dollars to real dollars or something like that. Even them, they're priced slightly differently, and they have, like, you can chart it essentially. Katie Babes, do it. Bulldog Buchanan. What's Bulldog Buchanan saying? Like, Big Whoopsies was timed out. I wonder what you got timed out for. Let's just read it. Aha, look at all these legends. Absolutely. It's always funny to see what people get timed out for, because so often on this channel, it's actually something pretty positive that they're saying. For example, Big Whoopsies got timed out saying, Leptin, thank you. I love it. I thought I had found my final style, but things do change. You see? Irish, good to see you, Irish. Lots of green. Sign of things to come. Hey, hey. Brave DeLorean, 3 months, thanks so much. Cachito Valador, 4 months, thank you so much. Darren Thompson, 2 months, thank you so much. Leptin, 3 months. CC, thank you. 4 months. Worth is life. 4 months. Bad Mama Jama, 5 months. Wow. Thanks so much for being so quick to support the channel, Bad Mama, whenever you found me here. JA up there at 4 months. Ooh, look at me. And Super Cashy up there at 4 months as well. Woohoo! Thanks for the tip. Really do appreciate it, everybody. Absolutely. Ronaldo Moreno, 4 months. Here's to many more. Stronger together. This is so lovely. I really do appreciate it. Reminds me of the 7/7 stream, of course. And a lot of people will remember that, you know. Hey, love you, brother. Thanks, trade spotting. 3 months. Be so funny. I'll have to go into your stream later on and get my one that comes up saying 4 months. Hey. Brilliant. Yes. Yes, yes. Brilliant. Right. We've got the news section now then. It's 2 o'clock. Thanks. Thanks again for everybody for joining me. Really do appreciate it. Be sure to tell your friends about this show. It's a really fantastic place to be in the Discord community as well. Of course, only be a part of these things if you actually do support what we're all about over here. We're going to be checking out some news. Thanks for joining me. Let's check out the news. So there's this article I want to read. It's the top one on the page there. The Evergrande meaning. What is the hidden meaning behind the Evergrande blow up? Or should we call it a blow down? I wonder. The things have obviously been going down the way. We also have other interesting news. DiCaprio invests in cultivated meat startup. That's cool. We like what DiCaprio does. I like Leonardo DiCaprio, by the way. I like Leonardo DiCaprio. Always have. So good man. Stock futures gain ahead of Fed decision. Interesting. So it's a Fed decision. So we had the Fed meeting yesterday. Must have gone fairly well, I guess, if they're rising up ahead of the Fed decision. I suppose maybe one day we could read one of these articles. Let's read this one now. What is this Fed decision, hey? Stock futures rose Wednesday morning as investors anxiously awaited the arrival of the Federal Reserve's latest monetary policy decision. Anxiously. Oh, we better make the prices go up because we're so anxious. Whatever, Emily, you don't need to put words in everywhere just to fill things in. You really don't. Contracts, Hemingway said, write the truth and then go back through it and take out all the redundant words. That's a tip for you if you're writing something. Contracts on the Dow jumped ahead of the event, adding more than 150 points, or 0.5%, with about 2 hours until the opening bell. Both the S&P 500 and NASDAQ also headed towards higher opens. Meanwhile, FedEx FDX shares slid after shipping giant posted weaker than expected quarterly earnings. Whatevs. Shares of Dow company Diz meanwhile recovered Tuesday's losses after CEO Bob Chapek. It's so annoying reading these things about pre-market prices, how you're recovering losses and stuff like that, isn't it? Anyway, we can check that out. But what was the main headline here for us? And it's like hidden meaning behind the Evergrande blow up. Now, some people out there have been saying Evergrande. I don't know why anybody would say that. It's presumably got a Chinese name, and I don't know. It's got an English name too. It's Evergrande. I mean, I don't get it. If you're going to call this Evergrande, then call it the Rio Grande, right? Rio is a Spanish word. Grande, coming after Rio, is the Spanish way of saying it. And Spanish people, by the way, say Grande. So if you're going to call this Evergrande, right? I've heard some people call it Evergrande, who pronounce the river Rio Grande. Come on, people. Get consistent. Right. Article first appeared in the morning brief. Oh, but it's here now. Have you heard? United States on a path to showdown over the debt ceiling again. Again, it happens all the time. Happens all the time. Can't wait to look back through these little super chats that have come in here from the members. As a spectacle of heavily indebted Chinese real estate giant Evergrande held investors in its sway for a second day, another drama slowly played itself out on the other side of the globe, on the other side of the globe, but in a way that hasn't yet captured the market's attention. As usual, the warring factions that run the government in the world's largest economy are trying to raise the statutory borrowing limit, currently set at 28.5 trillion. As usual, Uncle Sam will resort to extraordinary measures to keep paying the bills until Congress and the White House strike a deal. As usual, the eventual agreement won't solve the central problem. The government can't simply stop deficit spending, even though revenues are near the highest they've ever been, even in the face of COVID-19. Congress might go a little bit closer to the edge here, says Raymond J. Ed Mills. But ultimately, there's always a backup strategy. Whatever, man. Like, yeah. Why is he even talking? However, the Evergrande crisis and Washington's looming fight over the debt gives an opportunity to revisit a recurring theme for a variety of reasons, most of them having to do with the rock bottom yields and the vicarious central bank buying. This big macro theme has not been reflected in global bond markets. This big macro theme has not been reflected in global bond markets. I don't know, right? This thing's just full of words, so I'm going to skip off of it. I don't really know what the hidden meaning is. I've read most of the thing and I'm not sure what the hidden meaning is yet, and I can't really be bothered reading it. So it's something about bond markets. Think of Evergrande being a microcosm of that. Right, the bank added, rates are unlikely to fall further, but global growth rates likely will. This will stress repayment capacity, particularly for long growth, high rate emerging market economies. Look, whatever to all this shite. We talked about this like ages ago, right? The bond yields are so low in order to keep equities high, right? This is how this works. It's about the risk on, risk off appetite. In fact, speaking about risk on, risk off, right? Over here, there's an article on this list of article, Bitcoin rallies amid risk on market moves. So people talk about Bitcoin as being a safe haven asset. Now, of course, you know, it's not, because it's a risk on asset. As this article here so correctly points out, it's written by two people, Dave Liedeka and Joanna Ossinger. And we'll come around to looking at it in a second, but oh sugar, I've missed so many of these things and I don't want to miss them, so I'm going to look back through them because it's cool, because it's pretty cool. Thanks so much, Dan. I win with bought 5 months of generous person and first to click message, lol. Way well done. Well done. Here's to many more. Stronger together, says Ronaldo Moreno. Totally love you, Tradespot, and I love you, brother, man. I love you so much. Love you, Rocky. Thanks for everything. Cheers, Corey. Great guy. Vic Vince. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're an inspiration, says Phil. Phil, so are you. You really are. Hey, that's fun, says Observe Thyself. Hey, it is. Shane the Bush, member for 5 months. Here's to the next 5 months. Thanks, Shane. These 5 months, people. You know, there's people out there that have actually been member for a year now. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to the other year-long members. Daniel Assange, member for 5 months. Any 5-month member on 2 accounts? I am, plebes. Oh, what? What? That's 10 months, Daniel. That's basically 10 months. Wow, look at that. Daniel racing ahead there with that one. Can you imagine? Stephen Kimbler, thank you, Rocky, for helping me better my life. Thank you, Stephen, for being a part of a community that helps each other better their lives, mate. Everybody helps each other. Bitcoin dropped briefly before 40k for the first time since August, amid rising criticism from regulators, before rallying as the mood in global markets improved. The largest cryptocurrency broke a 3-day losing streak, rising 2.9% to 42,132 as of some time. Yeah, it slid earlier as low as 39.6. Tokens were other tokens were lower. Well, that's it. We've seen the crypto markets before. We know how this stuff goes. Fears of contagion from the debt crisis at China Evergrande Group and expectations that the upcoming Federal Reserve meeting will signal a scaling back in asset purchases. Whatever, like seriously, whatever, like really, like honest to God. I can't do it. I can't pretend that has any reality. I can't endorse that view. I can't endorse that view at all. Really, I can't. You've got two features with Bitcoin. One of them is that it's one of the rare assets in the world, which really, over a long period of time, this is the logarithmic chart. Goes up. Here's the linear chart. It'll make a big difference. It's the monthly time frame. It's a big asset. This thing here, it's just a big asset, you know, that keeps going up really over a long period of time. One of the reasons for that is because adoption, awareness, and various other things to do with like scarcity, you know. So there's a lot of that. Now this market is manipulated. Other markets are manipulated too. All markets are. I mean, big accounts have to manipulate markets legally in order to move things around to get, you know, orders filled on their accounts, etc. Now when we're looking down at the down here in like the daily time frame, and we consider that at the top here you had Wyckoff distribution. You know, when this Wyckoff distribution happened, the chances of the prices coming down to here were huge. And when they came down to here and put in this movement, you know, up until July,
then the chances of them moving up towards the 618 golden pocket to retest that afterwards were huge. The overall result in this thing being that there is, of course, the potential for an XABCD pattern on here. Now, I was wondering when I was trying to ask Scott Carney during his live show where he was getting his XABCD, where he was drawing it in from. You can hardly see shit on this chart now because of the amount of stuff on there. Where he was drawing his XABCD in from in terms of the lows on Dash, because I couldn't quite see it, but in terms of the low there, after the last major drop back in August 2020, up to the highs, then back down to where we came in at, you can see it's not a picture perfect beautiful Gartley that you've got on the go there, but it's close enough. And then with this movement back up that came up towards the 618, wherever it is, where's the high at? Where's the high at? Roughly there. You got your 618 up here as well. So what's harmonic people looking at on this one? Well, it's a Gartley, so it's a pattern that finishes within the range of the X to A movement. It's typically looking for a movement down to the 786 of the X, so for the XD. So 786 is in there. It's talking about sort of 1.618 or 1.27, sorry, movement on this, roughly in there. So harmonics has you aiming towards 23,124, and along the way, believe me, there will be so many articles telling us why things are doing it that way. Now, we don't have to believe that this is necessarily the future right here, right now, purely based off of the measurements that we've taken in the markets. But to suggest that it's not possible or anything else like that, it would be folly. Now, we can look at this in so many different ways, and just hiding all the drawings here, seeing that we've got this golden cross on the daily time frame between the 50 simple, which is the blue dotted line, and the red 200 simple, then we're obviously aiming back up here for a retest of the 200 simple at least, and then potentially then, of course, a retest of the 50 simple very soon, potentially, because as prices stay below this, there will be an immediate reversal in this. It'll only take a week or so for the cross to come back in again towards the downside. Then we'd be expecting a test of that, for example. And these are the sorts of things that will happen. Now, why? Because technical analysis is king. It is king. All of this, it's complete bollocks. Anyway, back to the bollocks. Crypto price action demonstrates that Bitcoin isn't immune to sell-off in risk-on asset across traditional markets. Now, that's very true. Very, very true. That's true. And that's an important point. And Tony Trechev, co-founder of crypto leader Nexo. Oh, by the way, crypto leader Nexo themselves tried to manipulate the Ethereum prices illegally. Hey, yous are a bunch of wankers. By the way, I told them as well that I ain't promoting their products in that. So when was it? Allegedly, they tried to do it, I should say, for legal reasons, because while I can't find the sort of the news about this from back in the day so quickly, I mean, I don't even know. It's like I just have to look back at my old videos at the time, because it was just part of the zeitgeist around there. There was something going on with Ethereum, and they were making all these sort of predictions about things whilst they were shorting it, and they were underwater. They had to close their positions. It's basically a little short squeeze happened on Nexo. So this guy here, he does understand markets, right? He really does, and he understands how to manipulate them, how to use them as well for his own benefit, and he understands that Bitcoin isn't immune to the sell-off in risk assets. And I would, in a sense, listen to what he's saying. But of course, whatever. Bitcoin needs to retake the 200-day moving average at 46k and consolidate before a collective sigh can be released. So, he's talking about it in terms of technical analysis. He doesn't give it, it isn't immune to the risk-off attitude. Of course it isn't, and it does need to retake that 200 simple moving average there at 46k. It's actually, you know, just shy of 46k, but he's rounding up 45,755. Also needs to take out the 50 simple and so on and so forth, and that's what's happening. But this is just, you know, a sigh of relief. I don't think so, mate. Not quite. You know, it actually really needs to take out the 618 over here and do that Gartleyan, for example. You know, it needs to come up towards an 886 Fibonacci retracement from the high at 56k to be able to go into the next sort of profit-taking target without breaking market structure, and then ultimately needs to go up above 64,000. And then, of course, we can have from 64,000 happily have another 40 or 30% retrace in the markets, because this thing moves. It moves, and when it moves, it moves. That's the reality of it. That's what's actually going on. That's what's actually happening here. Anyway, that's enough of that. So we've got 15 minutes before markets open up, and I think that gives us 15 minutes to kind of just have a chit chat here for a wee while. Brighten up, camera. Brighten up. Brighten up. Come on. Inspiring stuff. So, how are you getting on? Let me know what you're doing. I see you're chatting to each other. It's good to have you here. Hey, oh, Chelsea. Chelsea, Chelsea. Hey, Chelsea. Good to see you, Che, mate. Good to see you, Che. Good to see you. I love my friends that support teams like you know, I actually have quite a number of friends that support Rangers, for example. Rangers, Che, you probably know this already, are Scotland's, you know, sort of racist football team. And yeah, a big shout out to them. Like, for example, Broxy, a guy that's followed the channel for a long time. Really good guy. Really, really, really good guy. I actually quite like Chelsea, you know, I do quite like Chelsea, right? So, hypocrite much? I don't know. Anyway, good to see you, pal. Dan Lesage, whoop, whoop, whoop. Besides, there's more to this, isn't there? There's much more to all these things than just simply the things, than that. It's mostly it's about the attitude of the people in charge, right? I know squats are coming soon, but I'm stretching now. Yoga with Rocky News show. Haha. Well, Sal, I don't mean to disappoint. I do not mean to disappoint, but in order to try and get the day kicked off as quick and powerfully as possible, I actually did the squats first thing. Did the squats first thing, but you tell you what, it's good that you're doing yoga and stretching and stuff like that. We should do that. Chair yoga. I don't know what chair yoga is, but this is the airplane. Let's all do the airplane. It's the wow. Wow. Chair yoga. I invented it. That's the airplane. Coffee is tremendous source of antioxidants. It is true, says Katie, and it is. Hey, the absolute best community online. Thank you. Kimmy, yo, member for 3 months. Thanks so much. It's quality. Che, lol, rock outcrop. Always those racist fans to every base. They're starting to ruin football. They are. Absolutely, my friend. Man, exactly. So you're free to support whoever you want to support. I quite like Chelsea. I love saying, whoa, Chelsea, Chelsea. Yes, chair yoga. I keep telling you. Airplane. Experiencing a bit of turbulence on the old airplane. Hey, hey. Dog, potential impact on international markets. Analysts point to a major difference between the Evergrande crisis and the Lehman collapse. E.g., holds land while Lehman held financial assets. Right, okay. But those lands that Evergrande holds are toxic land in the sense, right? Evergrande has assets which are valued based on the land. Lehman Brothers had assets that were valued based on the land in a sense as well, because it was a mortgage to buy that land. Evergrande has taken on debt to buy and build those houses. So the difference between Evergrande and Lehman Brothers is that Evergrande is the manufacturer, the builder, the buyer, the seller, the mortgage provider, and the mortgage holder, all wrapped up into one nice, neat little package. Whereas Lehman Brothers was operating, you know, with intermediaries, if you like, in a sense. You know, so yeah, I see the point. But I would say that, you know, big problem with this is that things like 40% of their properties, or only 40% have been sold, or a quarter of them have been sold, or 40%, I don't know. They don't sell all their properties anyway. At least 40% remain unsold, that's for sure. And they and what they do is they say, well, look, this is the value of those properties, and they keep them on their balance sheet. Now, of course, that isn't really the value of the property. It's just that, you know, that's what they say the value of the property is, and China kind of says, yeah, that's the value of the property. Now, I suppose if you wanted to buy one off one, you'd have to buy it at that price. Now, of course, nobody wants to buy it at that price, which means that these things aren't really worth that much money. Not really. And the and therefore then the that means that their balance sheet's kind of misrepresented what that asset is really worth. Then if you add into it as well that they increase the value of their property that they hold, they increase the asset's value on its balance sheet in line with inflation and property price rises as kind of dictated by the Chinese government every year as well. So those houses that they didn't sell 5 years ago, that were not worth what they were worth at the time because nobody wanted to buy them then, and still don't now, are sat there having gone up in value, you know, when obviously market dynamics would dictate that they shouldn't have. So that's, you know, and what's Lehman Brothers, what did it do? Well, it essentially just took on debt, you know, in the sense of the you know, the leverage and that. Now there's so many differences as well, because we're talking about the systemic risk, and in a sense, you know, because China has piled it all into the one company, while there's obviously systemic risk and blah blah blah, too big to fail, etc. It's piled it all into the one company. See, the Citrus brothers, sorry, the Lehman brothers, sorry, the Lehman brothers, were part of a group, a cohort of people who'd all done exactly the same thing. Now, what we kind of want to see happen, if you're like going to have a Burry style attitude towards this thing, is to find out that other participants in the market also have that huge over leverage problem, so that their systemic risk can go and cause a domino effect across different companies. Whereas the kind of the minute sort of the Evergrande thing is, it's such a sinkhole, is it going to grab other companies and pull them down with it? And then that systemic way, even though those other companies in and of themselves are actually operating, you know, in a healthy and you know, correct manner. So those would be the differences. But yeah, cool. Good point, Peller Dog. Well made. Observe yourself. It was an honor, says Derbomb. I wonder what that's for. Oh, for doing the chapters. I tell you what, shout out to Derbomb if you want to give a thank you. If you watched yesterday's video after the fact and you appreciated the chapters, say thanks to that man right there, the tree, our German friend. It was him that did the titles, the chapters for the show yesterday. Thank you, my friend. And it wasn't an easy one to do the titles for either, or the chapters, I should say. Lepton, Curran Robert, do you have a YouTube channel as well? If you do, man, I'll promote it. Hey, Dirty Jars. All right, Dirty Jar 2, Dirty Jars 17. I wonder if that's in any way related to like Rangers. Oh wait a minute, Daniel Groves, you know I can't show any loves to the Rangers, lol. What's going up there? What's happening? What did Daniel Groves say? Scrolling up, where's Daniel talking about this? Got another super chat coming in just there now. I'll check that out in a second. Daniel Groves. Oh, hey, neighbor. Oh, you're chatting. Oh, wait, what Rangers are you talking about? If you're talking about, you must be talking about some American Rangers. Algo, hey, buddy. I get shown every day why you're the best. I recommend you to my friends constantly, but they must be blind or something. Who knows? Who knows? We're all friends here together, though. That's the thing. Remind them of that. They're not actually coming here to have to make friends or anything like that. They're coming into a place where everybody's going to welcome them in and lift them up. It's pretty cool. Thank you so much. Check your Streamlabs. Okay, man. Okay. Really should. Thanks so much for that. Keeping me in check, keeping me informed. Cheers, Rocky. Oh, by the way, I'll make my tomorrow's show. I'll have alerts coming up showing you like stuff on screen and that, and I'll see it myself, and everything will be better. Cheers, Rocky. Looking sharp. Am I? Thanks, man. Awesome. I decided to start growing my hair out. Cool. Thanks for inspiring us all in numerous immeasurable ways. Every day, everybody inspires me. I've had inspiring messages. Yesterday, I got several inspiring messages. Quite a lot of them. Big shout out to all of you for that. There was 5 people perhaps yesterday or more that individually give me big inspiring messages, and then a really lovely message from Sal, who actually is organized for me a massage, a spa therapy thing, just to give me some sort of hell. Amazing, right? Amazing. How good is that? How good is that? And to all those who don't understand the message, to all of those who think that there's personal attacks are being delivered from here to other people, to all those people who don't really follow along and don't understand, you're not missed. You're not missed. Because I'm very clear here. Just look at what's happening today. You're not missed. You'll never be missed. If you want to be a part of what we're doing here, all it takes is compassion and understanding, and you will be here amongst us, and there is no need to miss anybody. Those who go away often do come back once they realize what they've been missing, but those who have to leave, you know, as for instance from yesterday's show, are won't be missed. Back to the charts. The markets are about to open up in 5 minutes. Let's see how the pre-markets are doing. Jeff Smith in there, by the way. Jeff Smith, thank you so much for being yourself. Everybody out there, massively appreciated. You know, you got Homer's rehypothecated ghost here, having such a funny guy, such a nice guy, joking away with his name and everything. Daniel Groves withdrawals from being alive. Surely, haha. Thankfully, not much to be pining for, as the worst of my consumables is starts with an M over there. Nice one. Great. AMC first off, then I suppose. Oh, my keyboard. AMC. So for people who are wondering about comparison between the Apple, not that anybody is, the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Microsoft Designer Keyboard, very similar looking keyboards, very similar kind of target markets, etc. Yes, indeed, the 6-year-old Apple Magic Keyboard still outperforms the brand new Windows keyboard in terms of its speed at connectivity from Bluetooth. Why? Nobody will know. Nobody will ever know. Nobody understands. Steve Jobs took that one with him to the grave, maybe. Here we have 38.82 was the closing price yesterday, 38.65 the opening price today. But essentially 24-hour time frame showing us the way with this one in terms of the broad strokes. You know, should we actually be aiming for downside targets? Should you be aiming for downside targets? They'd probably be somewhere in and around about that $22-23 area currently, and we're here at the 50 simple. There's a big divide between these two. And I think that in terms of just looking at this chart here, maybe it would be wise for me to hide those just now and put on something else for today's and try and make it a little bit easier. I wanted to have a way of looking at charts where you could look at them and understand where things are and what they mean in the briefest way of doing it, so that I could help people who are new to markets understand. Here we are on the 24-hour time frame, and if you were to be looking at a market with regards to the Bollinger Bands and trying to make decisions, what you're going to be asking is, are we tracing one of the lines? Are we tracing one of the lines? The upper line, the lower line, the middle line? Are we tracing along it? Are we moving between the upper and lower bits before Mark opens Streamlabs? Okay, yeah. I'll get back around to doing this BB thing in a second, actually. Just need to open this up. Bad Mama Jama. Before Mark opens, take a look at that. Oh, Sarah Restaino. Dollar bills. Kevin Turtle. Thanks so much for that. $10. Sarah, really lovely person. You always are. I hope you have a good day today if you're out delivering. Bad Mama Jama, check your Streamlabs. I'm looking back the way. Che, cheers, Rocky. Looking sharp. Working back. Somebody subscribed. Whoop, whoop. Oh, my goodness. I love you, man. I was going to buy me a share today, but I want to give you one instead. It isn't much, but you deserve it more than me. I love you all. It's really nice of you, man. We've got 3 minutes. In 3 minutes time, I'll open up. I'll go to my 3 minutes time. I'll go to my trading app application, the one that I've got on my phone there, make it handy, and I'll buy myself a share as soon as the market opens. Thanks very much. That's really kind of you. Appreciated. Cheers, man. So yeah, I'll just buy it at the market. I'll not. Maybe that's unwise. Maybe I should do No. I'll do it at the start. I'll do it because you gave it to me, and that's kind of you, man. I don't know what I'll do. So, shit. Thank you. So you want to look at market and you want to know what's happening in it, but you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm new to this stuff. It's hard for me. What's going on? Wouldn't it be nice if there was a simple method that we could look at that would be consistent between charts every time that we do this thing? Something that would give us a kind of handle on the larger time frames, the movements overall, and what we could expect in terms of shorter time frames and how you trade this thing. Perhaps if you're looking intraday and perhaps if you're looking for swing. Wanting to understand what the trend is in the current market, we'll also want to understand where the opportunities lie right here for us right now. One way of doing that could be looking at the Bollinger Bands. At any given time, with the Bollinger Bands, you're wanting to see if we're tracing towards the top side. Are we tracing towards the downside? Are we hugging the Bollinger Band like we did here on the AMC chart between the 24th of August up to the 13th of September with a nice trace of that line towards the top side? Are we tracing it towards the downside like we did over here from the 1st of July down to the lows on the 15th of July? During those couple of different week periods there, you can see that during that time frame, the prices like to stick there. The next question you'd be asking is, well, are we moving between the zones? And if we are, what's the significance of those zones? You have a lower zone and an upper zone. The upper zone is obviously more bullish than the lower zone. The lower zone more bearish than the upper zone, divided by that median line in between. Well, what is that median baseline of this Bollinger Band? Well, the median baseline of the Bollinger Band is simply put the 20 simple period moving average, and that gives you an indication of trend. The moving average itself, a sort of lagging indicator. Well, and is the Bollinger Band itself a sort of lagging indicator? Well, yes and no, because one of the other functions of the Bollinger Band is looking at the upper and lower lines, which are standard deviation points away from the moving average. And understanding moving averages and considering them simply to be a lagging indicator is certainly a less sophisticated and perhaps inaccurate way of doing so. The Bollinger Bands incorporating the baseline 20 period simple moving average give us that impression by showing us, you know, where the prices are in relationship to that moving average, i.e. where the price is currently compared to where it has been on average. And therefore as well, with regards to standard deviation, we know that prices move. We know that prices move. They will always move up and down, and that in general life, as the Greeks discovered more than 2,000 years ago, more than 3,000 years, 4,000 years ago, that there is of course a natural stochastic which can happen to anything, and things do tend to revert towards the mean. Therefore, when things move beyond the standard deviation points, it's at a time when you might think to yourself, well, hey, the lagging so-called indicator of the 20 period simple moving average is that far away from where the current prices are that this is beyond the typical movements of a price. More than 95% of the time it tends to revert back from that point towards at least the standard deviation point. If we go back above the standard deviation point, i.e. either the upper or lower lines of the Bollinger Bands, then at that point, of course, we are moving towards the mean. It's a question then at that point of whether or not we begin to trace the Bollinger Band in the direction of that trend and that standard deviation movement, or if we correct up towards the median line and remain bearish below the moving average, or indeed recapture and move above the moving average, therefore anticipating perhaps a move towards the upper line. That is what the Bollinger Band will tell us, and in 2 minutes we'll take a look at the charts. By the way, that is the sort of thing that we do on the show all the time. It's just it doesn't happen quite so quickly. Most of the time I try to talk about things in a bit more of a considered or slower manner to be compassionate towards those who need to listen along. Within that section there was a good deal of understanding perhaps, which might benefit you to know about. If you are interested in such things, then I highly recommend that you do indeed take a look at that for me right now. Okay, don't actually have, gonna have to change my funding around there on that one because I don't have the readies. I mean, I do, I just don't want to be pissing about on stream trying to do something like that. So give me a second so I can open up a different trading account here instead on the computer. I'm not going to do it on screen, I don't do that sort of thing on the channel, but just give me a second because I want to go and fulfill the promise of the donation that Bad Mama Jama sent towards me. I really do appreciate it, so I'm going to just go ahead and do that right now. So let's just see, can I get it over here? This will do. I'll buy it later on an account where I'd actually want to hold it. I'm not too bothered about the up and down capital gains tax movements and etc. I can sort that out, but a lot of people, of course, the Americans, want to be concerned about how long they hold the thing for, etc. I trade so often anyway that I'm happy enough with this as it stands. Let's just go with what we have just here. Let me see. Let me just see. And logged in. Whoops. Wrong number to push. There. Right. And right. Okay, cool. So I'll sort that out in terms of where I would actually hold that long term. I've not got that in my long term holding account, but I've got it there. Right, great, excellent. Back to the chart. So here we have the Bollinger Bands. I'll check in with what people are saying with the chat just real quickly before we run on. I don't know if you could hear me speaking there. That was obviously quite fast. Let's just see. Nobody seems to be... Oh, I've only got top chat up. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Thank goodness. I did spot that though, so I can see all of the chat now. I changed it to live chat. I do tend to read all of it as I'm going through as much as I possibly can. Nice one. So, okay, we all seem to be happy enough talking about breakfast foods and stuff like that. Nothing left my shirt in NYC, so I ordered another one next month. You should get every 3-month shirt drop memberships. Ooh. I could set that back up again on Patreon. I will do once I get all the things organized. By the way, shout out to Harriet, who I will send an email to later on. I saw at the start of the show here. Don't know if she's watching just now, but it's good to have you around if you are. Rock Outcrop, pin the Patreon link. Okay, bud, I will indeed. I'll put the link to the Willow page. Inside here, you will find my my Patreon and other methods of supporting the channel, and therefore getting access to the Patreon, etc. Shit, that doesn't work because it's just text. It doesn't know it's a link. Damn it. HTTPS. Bam, 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 bam. Cool, excellent. That's pinned up there. Let me just check that is indeed the working link. Yep, sweet. So through that you get access to what you need. Sweet. Ha. BRB, gotta make mine and the dog's breakfast now. And yes, Pooch is getting a steak and eggs too, says Cockroach Rancher. That's quality. Nice for the doggy. 37.87, we've dropped down a wee bit here in AMC. There's the 4-hour time frame, not the 24. Maybe I suggested it was at the start. No, it is the 24. Sorry, I was reading it wrong. So that's correct. So that's the 24-hour time frame. This year, obviously, we're down at the lower end. You can anticipate, in a sense, a reversion towards the mean, but you'd be looking up and saying that so long as we're below $44, we're in a bearish mindset on this one. Down there onto the 4-hour time frame, and you can see that at this one, we're also down at the lower end, and indeed, it is tracing this down the way. When it moves outside, it comes back up towards the line, but of course, it's tracing it so far. So we're waiting to see, can we get a proper turnaround? Movements away from the standard deviation, be it sideways or towards the top side, is whenever you start to see that turnaround in positivity. Right here, right now, if you're trading with the trend, it's obviously in the shorter term time frames towards the downside. Then you can keep going down here in the Bollinger Bands, and you can see, oh look here on the 1-hour time frame, now we're starting to get a different contrasting picture. We were tracing this towards the downside, like I said, came up here and touched off the median line, remained in that bearish mentality before dropping down and continuing to trace the Bollinger Band towards the downside. Coming up here, we're looking to see, can we actually test this on the 1-hour time frame, being below $40, and of course where that lower gap was, which we ultimately filled in somewhere like over there or whatever. We of course are remaining in a bearish stance. You want to see in a positive stance, then of course moving towards the top side of the Bollinger BB. That's what we want to see. So doing the same thing then. There you go, my friend, whoever it was that was asking me, can you do this? Can we have a way? I still find it hard to look at charts. 24-hour time frame. We're back in here on AHT. Bam Mama Gemma just suggested it in the chats. Thanks so much for the $5, by the way. And Danko Bar, member for 3 months. Bing bong, the price is wrong. It is the price wrong on this one. Over there, 1484, doing pretty good above the basis line of the Bollinger Bands on the 24-hour time frame. We've come back here. We want to see this close up above that 1470 price point. But we could also look towards 240 minutes, which of course is 4 hours, and see how we're doing next. Boom, we're into the bullish area on this one. Can we then therefore look towards the upper area? We already identified targets from this one in the past, going up towards 60 here, etc., brings us up towards that $16 price target. We can see that, of course, that's in it around about where the top end of this has been resisted at so far. For anybody that doesn't understand Bollinger Bands, then you can take a look at this section right here that I've just circled around to get a better idea of that. You see, we're always going to be somewhere near this lagging so-called indicator of the 20 period moving average, but the prices themselves will tend to have a standard deviation movement beyond it of around about 2 deviation points of that standard on the on sort of more or less all time frames. Here you can see we came up towards the top end, and that has been resistance for us. Here we have it, and if we want to get up there again, we'd be moving up. Combine that with the technical analysis that I've already done on this so far today already, amazingly as it is, and moving up above $16 changes conditions, does it not? We could of course see retracements at that point, but then if we can trace that up the way, then super duper, that's when the trend is really kicking in. And can we start to see that with the sideways movement we've had so far? It means that the 20 period moving average is not going to struggle too much to actually get that turnaround if we're looking for it, because a number of these periods in the past will be above that line, giving you that positivity overall on average over the 20 periods that we're looking for. So that would be decent, and that's where we are with that one, you know. So there's plenty of this sort of thing that you can keep doing. That's the 4-hour time frame, and we go down towards the 1-hour time frame, and here we have it at the top side. We want to continue tracing away up the way, tracing up the way. So just like we looked at over on AMC when we're talking about tracing this thing towards the downside and movement's potential towards the basis line, then tracing it down the way thereafterwards, what you're looking at over there is to see, can we continue to trace this towards the top side? We're bearing in mind that any movements outside of this have got a 95% chance of coming back at the very least to retest the basis, the upper line of the Bollinger Band, with the potential of course to go on and retest the basis line thereafter, as we saw over here. In fact, testing it and then breaking it, and then of course coming down, pushing outside. Here we had it pushed outside, 95% chance you come back up, and we did. And then on up towards testing that basis line, came back down towards lower line, on up, tested the basis line, broke through. You can see the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band itself is just very simple, 20 period moving average, and these two lines using standard deviation mathematicals to plot them onto the charts. 1496 so far. Is this early exuberance going to be too much for us to handle? At the minute, it's not too much to handle. It isn't. Over the course of this afternoon, we could see the prices going up as far as 1560, like greatly changing things. In the 2-hour time frame, you can see that we're just arriving up towards these areas, and it starts to push up. Every time the candles open and close, you're going to get a bit more breathing room in terms of the current trend that you're operating in when you're looking at Bollinger Bands. So as you see the prices evolve, they will of course catch up. We can expect the basis line of the Bollinger Band to move up like this as the prices themselves move up, giving you greater opportunities to have retests of this thing while you're continuing the trend, thus leading to this trace of the line. If this is your line, the trace of the line towards the top side that we talk about when we're looking at them. This is, if you like, the advanced Bollinger Band course. This is how you do things, and this is in part a response to somebody who said to me, I want to have a way of looking at the charts that I can look at that is a simple method to look at them and understand what's going on across the time frames and understand where the charts are moving. And this is how you would do it, my friend. This is one of them. If you want to use the Bollinger Bands correctly, then this is how you use them. This is it. I don't care what John Ballinger says. If John Ballinger says it's raining, because this is the way to do it if you're looking at doing it as a professional would. Moving on, we've got other stocks we haven't actually looked at in a wee while. For example, over here with AMAT, is it here going to be performing? It's trying at the Bollinger Band basis line here on the 1-hour time frame, looking at the 4-hour time frame. Where are we? Got a massive gap up above us as we float in the Netherlands. The unknown lands. These lands here where we don't really know if the prices are trending. The Bollinger Bands asking us to be cautious, to remain cautious, while the prices are of course below $138, while of course overall looking at price action first, technical analysis, low, a low, a low, a high, and a high in between. This is of course the just looking at these two highs just here between these 2 points, and looking at these 3 lows just here between these 3 points overall, and looking at the movements. What do we have here that has been, the promise of which has been fulfilled? Not quite. Wait, has it? Yeah, the promise of this has been fulfilled already. Oh, yet another one. We can come back and take a look at this in just a second, but we have another perfect example. Another perfect example, ladies and gentlemen. Yet again, as we make this indicator together, you and me together, making an indicator which has yet again shown its colors as being a wonderful, perhaps the best indicator that's ever been invented and discovered by anybody ever, right here live on this show. Yes, live together, you and I doing this together. There's 161 people watching along. You're the only ones in the world, that know about this. This is the only place in the world that has this information, the only place. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But anyway, continuing on with this, we've got these two highs. How are they getting on there? High and high. That's not divergent. That's good to see. We've got these 1, 2, 3 lows on the RSI. 1, 2, oh, 3. Slightly lower than the previous one. What's that mean? We have it moving slightly lower on the previous one. What's that mean? What's that mean, chat? Put it in the chats. Let me know. It's 3 words. Dingy, dingy, ding, ding, ding. Tell me, what are those 3 words between this point here and this point here? Tell me, my friends. Tell me. What is this? What am I looking at when I see this RSI lower? What am I looking at? Tell me what it is. Tell me what this is. What is this? This RSI came low here. This is low and a low corresponds. Low and a low corresponding. And then a low and a lower low, a higher low and a lower low, and it doesn't correspond. What is that? What is that? What is that? Tell me what that is. Tell me what that is, so that we can move on. Tell me what it is. We can't move on until someone tells me what this is. Tell me what this is. What is this called? What is this? What is this? Hidden bullish divergence, says Samat. Yes, Samat. Yes. Yes, that's hidden bullish divergence, my friend. That's exactly right. When would that no longer be hidden divergence, my friend? When would that no longer be hidden bullish divergence? When would that no longer be hidden bullish divergence? Well, you can probably bet that will no longer be hidden bullish divergence if the prices were to come back down to these Bollinger Bands and test them and push around them. Then you'd be having that lower low. You'd have convergence across here, and perhaps you'd be looking at a slight change in conditions. Perhaps you would. Now, let's not relinquish our education with regards to the RSI over the last wee while. Let's not relinquish it. Let's take a look at things for a split second. What do we know happens here? What do we know? There is a slight change in conditions. That's the answer. What does that mean? It means that this zone here is, of course, your oversold territory. That's where we're looking at. What we're hoping to find here is that we actually find in what is conceivably the oversold territory a turnaround with perhaps hidden bullish divergence to take us higher up in prices, and to try and maybe start to trend towards the top side or continue to trend the way that we have been so far. Yeah, okay, you could look at you would use the Bollinger Bands and how you could combine them with another indicator to know where you are and how it stands. Where am I targeting therefore? 138, where there could potentially be profit taking coming in at. We're also looking at the gap that's up above that extends as high as 139, so maybe we're aiming up towards 139, and then we consider where are we. If we can sustain prices above 138.40 after having filled in this gap, if we are able to do so, then we are looking for a move afterwards subsequently to 144, 145, and my goodness, oh my goodness, shout out to Marmar. Are you watching? Are you watching, Marmar? And did you relinquish your position, or what happened in the end? Marmar, of course, who traded this from one of these highs, looking to get a short-term trade, looking for an intraday trade that started perhaps in or around about the 30th of June and has continued on as a swing trade. Actually, I'd say probably started in around about the 1st of August or the 30th of July. And then it's continued on here. We're in, of course, the 22nd of September. I wonder if you relinquished it at that point, and if you did, do you then have personal experience now at this stage of thinking to yourself, well, hey, look, we've come up, we've put in a high. I'm happy to see the prices dropping down and to relinquish the position here and get a better one with less risk profile attached, and therefore being part of the cohort itself that drove this down whenever it came up to test its prior high, having put in at this point here across these two zones bullish convergence, thinking here we've done just enough. If we turn around and come back down for a retest and then carry on up the way, sure, that would be better value. Now here's the thing that we're doing together. Let me just get a vertical line out for us, drop this on the charts on the bar, which actually follows on from the end of that zone there of the critical volatility zone as identified on the rocky outcrop. DMI putting in a horizontal ray at the point at this candle where it actually opened. It opened here. Oh, it hasn't filled it in perfectly for looking at the open. I thought this was a red candle. My candles are white here. In terms of whether or not we filled in from the close, of course we have. We're talking about this together. Do we need to come down and test this low? Do we need to? Do we need to come down and test this low? Do we need to? I'm aiming up to 138. Of course I am, but I am very concerned about the possibility of coming in here. Me, personally, I think the best buy price on this one, if you're looking for a turnaround and to manage your risk, would be to conduct yourself something like this in this market from here, with managing your risk around about these sorts of ideas where you'd be pushing on further down and taking profit, perhaps either up there at a 5-to-1 risk to reward trade. You know me. If you do, if you've watched, of course, a lot of people have for more than 5 months. I often talk about how I like to go for 5-to-1 risk to reward trades. I'd prefer, if I was to take a trade on this, I'd prefer to take this trade than to take any other. Looking down here towards the median line instead, you can get a 2.5-to-1. Looking from that point, just simply to come back up and test any region up above, you can certainly get more than 1.5-to-1 on a risk to reward basis floating around like that. However, if I was in a trade already, then of course I'm looking towards that zone and to try up, fill in this gap. And we can choose to refill that one at any time that we want, even on the way down again thereafter. There are other considerations, but that is it. That's an interesting one. There was me excited to have said this was filled in. I thought it was proof yet again this indicator works perfectly to the open of the candle, but actually this was here. The open was at 132, so still waiting to see if this one gets filled in. And then the question for us as analysts who are developing tools to improve our lives and the lives of our fellow cohort and the community and the society amongst us, we can ask the question and peer review this as to whether or not we fill in this zone here, and we need to reconsider or not what way the indicator functions. This is one of those times. I'm humble enough to say that this is something that we can do together. Looking then a look, how did we get on at the start of the GME? We're just here doing what we've done the entire time since we started the markets. That's right. That's what I'm going to say. We're actually just kicking about with a well, this candle is obviously not fully formed. It's a 4-hour candle. Let me bring up the 5-minute time frame. In this zone just here. In this zone just here. What have we done? Well, we just flicked down and up again, really, so far. Oh, the market's opened up down here. We've moved up so far. Oh, that's pretty good. No gaps or anything like that to worry about. Just asking, can we take out this 190 area and try to start moving up? AHT, how's it doing so far? Oh, continuing on up the way. Having moved outside, what happens 95% of the time? What happens 95% of the time whenever you push outside the Bollinger Band? Well, of course, you're going to come back down and retest this zone. So the 1 minute time frame traders who got in at 1493 made a mistake, because they should have got in at 1470, 1480, and then of course they could have already have taken profit on that at 1494, which is 1 cent or 2 cents higher than they would have been had they been buying the area outside of the Bollinger Band. You're looking for a trading strategy, my friend, then why not just extrapolate out from the information that I'm giving you so far and apply it to the own way that you conduct yourselves in the markets. Honestly, mate, honestly, the depth of understanding which comes whenever you say to yourself, I'm going to try and take this starting seed and grow it into a mighty oak, is impressive. You will be able to do this. I believe in you. Message received today from somebody, again, not going to shout out names, who was interested in a new challenge. And they started it and they thought to themselves, I don't know if I can do this. And in their head, they heard me saying, I believe in you. And they kept going, and well done to you. Inspirational stuff. Thanks so much. You inspired me with that message. Good morning, A Alamo. Wow, A Alamo. And, a lot of chat in here this evening from people this morning, I should say, from people who are, who can get a free super chat thing to me because they've been members for a while. Fantastic. And A Alamo yourself, having, of course, been a supporter of this channel for perhaps around about a year now, having been one of the first people to specifically ask me to go and get my PayPal address so that you could donate to me. Generous person, never forgotten. I don't know. I don't forget anyone. I never forget anyone. I try not to. There is no chapter guy. We are Legion. Team of people sharing the work. Anybody's free to join. Please do. There's a thread inside the Discord for it. I have a Google Calendar. If you wish to join it, you can. Look at this. Thank you so much, Daniel, for doing Friday's stream for me. Thank you so much for scheduling yourself in there. Thank you as well to Sal for doing what? Tomorrow. For doing tomorrow. Thank you so much. Right now. Thank you so much, Kellen, for doing the chapters. Right now it's happening. Thank you so much. Feel free to leave a chapter in here saying thank you so much for you doing the chapters. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for everybody. We are Legion. Of course, we're doing this together. The community that helps raise each other up. We are the rising tide. We are. We're the rising tide. What have we got to do here? It's 5 to 3. We've got plenty of time left. Let's do a quick Bitcoin, etc. summary. How are we getting on with this one so far at the minute? 42,000 here in the 5-minute time frame. So we've obviously managed to maintain prices above that 40k area so far. Looking to see, can we move towards 46 like we spoke about at the top of the show? Can we do that? What happens up at 46? Well, of course, if we're to pop the moving averages back on here, you can see a couple of other ones. You'd notice that up here in this region, we have got significant time frame moving averages. This is where the 50 period moving averages at on the 4-hour time frame, and knowing that that's where the 200 period moving average is on the 24-hour time frame, it goes to show you that of course we've had this period of consolidation in here. Now we could be looking at this and saying this is Wyckovian distribution with these highs towards the top side, which of course were bearish, and as we tried to push up there and we got that one last try, we didn't burn off the divergences, etc., and instead came down here and changed conditions with a drop down below. Didn't change conditions yet, but we changed from the immediately bullish to the immediately bearish conditions, where they drop down towards the test of the bearish control zone. We're waiting to see if we can actually move up and sustain this. What does this mean? What does it mean? We've been talking about this for a long time. Well, when you come up towards the 80 region, the 70 region, etc., the bullish control zone region up here with the green background, then you're looking down towards this purpley background area and saying that this is the oversold territory in the black area between the neutral line and the start of that purple part. So you're looking here at the purple area and saying we want to get rejected from this because we want to stay bullish, just like we did here and here before moving up, and then of course continuing as we can see here. So over there we have come down and tested this purple line here as well. Can we actually find that and sustain it, sustain price action, at least go up to try our higher areas? If we are, then what are the lowest risk areas to trade in? You saw this the other day as I did my little instructor on what is the on what is the easiest way to trade. So I could bring that up real quick as well if I wanted to and show you. It's just taking chunks between certain levels. If you are thinking along those lines, then of course, and I'll just go ahead and make this as messy as I want to make it because these are my charts. I'm looking up here then towards the 47,000 area where the 618 is. Where's the 47,000 area where the 618 is? Well, let me go back here and zoom on in again and again and again. Hide all the drawings here. This is Bitcoin Technical Analysis. Thank you so much for joining me. Wow, what do we see here? It's where the 50 simple period moving average in the middle line of the middle line of the Bollinger Bands currently reside as well. That would be where you'd be looking to. What would it also mean? Well, it means that it'd be that you'd be coming in slightly lower than your previous high overall, which means that you'd be simply maintaining the trend. What does that mean in terms of going back to the premise of, can you give me a simple way of trading and how to manage things and how to understand charts? And well, simply, my friend, you'd be taking profits at that area of that median line because you know that conditions are bearish here. You know what a trend is with a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. For us to come up there and move up, that would be a lower high as well. If I just actually temporarily throw all my drawings in the bin, I'm going to hit the undo button so I can bring these back on. I don't want to get rid of all that mess there, etc. Then you're looking here and saying, if we can take out the 236 at 42,500, then that trade maybe is on. This is a more sophisticated way of doing things, combining it with Bollinger Bands, indeed aiming up towards that golden pocket territory, as we spoke about, and knowing that if we actually hit off of the 50% line, that is where the 200 simple is on the daily. This is, of course, a cross that we could test that 200 simple as. This is the entire analysis from Bitcoin done yet again, using different indicators and different ways of doing it. There is always an overlap in technical analysis. Every single person out there that comes up with their own methodology and tells you that it is, of course, brand new and never been done before, apart from, with the single exception of the Rocky Outcrop DMI Flash, which I invented here with you together as a community, then they are ignoring the wider scope of technical analysis. There's always an always an overlap. All roads, all of them lead home. How's everyone getting on? Did you background change? I can't see the moving average, but you know I can't see period colors. Man, sorry. Yes, Bad Mama Jama. Man, I forget about the. There's that one. I'll make it yellow, and then the other one, the longer period, the 200 period one, I'll make it no, what would be good for you? I'll make it this kind of this green color. So that's where they're hanging around at. The yellow line coming in here at that baseline, the Bollinger Band, the green line coming in at that 50% of that Fibonacci, etc. It's just confluence on confluence to dictate your trading, and try and add the strategy to it by saying, well, I'm not confident about this is going up towards that while it remains below the 236 Fibonacci retracement, because it's been above the 236 Fibonacci retracement that creates a valid Fibonacci retracement in the first place. Right? Again, by the way, actually, tell you what, I started off today's show thinking to myself, we'll be more relaxed. I actually intended on sitting on this screen for more than half of the show and just talking with people about inspirational stuff, just chatting and having a good time, and talking about what it is to be positive, what it is to have goals, to work towards goals, how you find the motivation and the desire to work towards those goals, and what it's like to do it in a cohort of other people at the same time, all that sort of stuff. But instead, I've been dropping educational bombs like there ain't no tomorrow. I'm doing it like I'm doing it like the Allied forces were doing it on Dresden, as they unscrupulously killed 170,000 people with fire and incendiary bombs, and then didn't mind doing it because the women and children that they killed in that industrial city were, of course, Nazis too. That's right. Like I say, we're all Nazis at the end of the day. Anyway. So I was dropping those knowledge bombs like incendiaries on Dresden, and yeah, why was I doing that? Why was I doing that? I don't know. Partly integrity, partly my mission and my goals myself, partly because just talking to you for 5 minutes inspired me to do it. Thinking about the positive messages I got sent yesterday inspired me to do it. The positive messages that you all threw in the chat with your 3, 4, and 5 month and longer memberships has inspired me to do that. It reminded me, of course, what we're all about over here. This is inspirational stuff. Inspiration. Anyway, we'll keep on going, but I think at least once this week, as you can see, I'm extremely exhausted. I'm fatigued. I am aware that I'm close to burning out. That's why Sal gave me that spaddy. That's why she gave me a spaddy. I know it. Don't worry about me. I'm not going to burn out. I'm aware of it. This is the thing. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. Burnout is real. I know how to manage it. Absolutely. That's unfair. I've not been an entrepreneur for 20 years. Although I have, because I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I have. Right. And so I'm aware of it, right? So here, I'm totally aware of the fact that, as I put on the big screen there, that I'm emotional, that I'm finding it hard. I'm aware of it, right? You're aware of it too. I'm fine. I know what it is. I'm fine, right? And one of these days, I'm just going to have a chilled stream where we talk and take it easy, you know? It's going to be a relaxing thing. And I'll also do that during the evening. Just understand that you've inspired me to do more. I hope I inspire you a little bit. how a Brit drinks tea. I hate calling myself a Brit. I'm only doing that for the US audience. Fucking hell. Right, brilliant, excellent. So just a wee disclaimer, just a wee shout out there for people. You know, people can be concerned. I don't want them to be concerned because this is a beautiful thing. But there you go, my friend. You know, I've given a good, I think, probably the. I'll let other people characterize what I've done here. I've just tried my best, right? To give somebody some education because they wanted to have a way of looking at charts that they could understand. Then to be able to understand it across time frames, and then to be able to understand it to be able to trade, to be able to understand. And fuck me, have I not delivered? I think I've delivered. I do. I really do think I've delivered. Got another super chat in here as well. Appreciate the education. You're helping us not only start a new chapter of life, but how to write the book. Fuck yes. Thanks so much, Shikar. Totally. And to how to write it with each other and to be a good person along the way as well. Try and remember that every single name that's in that chat, every single name, every single one of them is a complete life of a real person that's got a family, it's got like friends, hopefully, it's got like goals, dreams, hopes, regrets, disappointments, everything. It's not easy being a human, but we're all human together. All of us. Just try my best, you know? Just try my best. That's all I can do. You inspire me every day, brother. Why I'm here as much as I can as well. So many more. Yeah, thanks so much, man. So I try. So I'm aware that I'm close to burnout. I'm aware of it. Right? And I'm happy. Yeah? You know, I'm happy. And at times, like, I'm stressed and tired. But I'm just so fucking happy to be here. Always, every day. Brian, been busy with life stuff last couple of weeks, but my love for this community shall never wane. Hey, yes, absolutely. Just continually waxes for me as well. GME, how you doing today, brother? How you doing, my friend? 188, 93. We're not above 191, 92 yet. That's a little short-term pivot point. I mean, the big points in the market are the ones that Jimmy was talking about. Get above $343. Get 350, let's call it, just around it. Conditions have changed. Conditions have changed, and people need to acknowledge that, right? Now, we're going to fight for that. We're going to fight for that again. We're going to fight, we're going to fight, we're going to fight. We're never going to stop. We can't stop. We won't stop. We game stop. We know this. We know this. But what's this show all about, right? I don't exploit you. Never. 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 This show's about empowering you. Empowering you. And how are we going to empower you? I'm going to take the hardest thing in the world. The hardest thing in the world that I've dedicated 20 years of my life to. Well, that's not strictly speaking true because there's times in between, like I say, being an entrepreneur for 20 years as well. Let's call it 10 full-time years of life. Let's call it 10 full-time years. Let's call it 10 more than full-time years. Let's call it 10 years of working at it every single day of all those years. Let's call it 3,600 days. Let's call it that I've dedicated to this to try and make it so that the likes of, say, for example, Jordan's comment that I read out yesterday can learn stuff from this in 30. To take 3,000 days and turn it into 30. It's not easy. And I do it for you so that you can be empowered, so I can be surrounded by people who are in control of their own destiny. We can march forward together. God, that's so brilliant to be here. Fucking hell, am I inspired? I'm massively inspired. It's the best place in the world. Amazing. Right. Hey, Ronaldo's here. I love him. I love him. I love Ronaldo. Such a great guy. Right. So yeah, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm never going to be afraid. I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Even if I look like this, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Always. I'm happy to be here. Happy. I've just got no emotional capacity left. That's gone. It's gone. So it puts me in this position. I know it is. I know what it is. And the weekend I'll sleep more. And I've got conditioner for my hair now. Do you understand how big a difference that makes? Sasha will understand. Sasha will understand. It makes a big difference. Anyway, that's us. That's here. That's what we're doing together. Jordan Buchanan, welcome to Early Supporter. That's just so kind of you, mate. Man, you're already on the Patreon. I really appreciate that. It's really kind of you. It's good to see you here, man. I didn't know you were here. It's cool to see you, man. Pam, I'll have to rewatch the rest of the video later. Have a good day, Rocky. Thanks. Pam, you have a good day. Thanks so much for being here, as ever. Massively appreciated. She's great. She's great. I love her speedboat stories. Tradespawn, there is a website called Playboard. You can see what people make on super chats and stuff. That's awesome. Rocky Outcrop. What way would you prefer people to support you? Because to be honest, I despise YouTube. I could pay you in Cosmos Atom. Lol. Awesome. I love it when people do cryptocurrency stuff. I do. I love it when people do cryptocurrency stuff. I love that. I love that. I'm massively into cryptocurrency. I mean, look at this. I'll just take a second here. Look. Rocky Outcrop. What's it say beneath my name? Crypto Technical Analysis. That's right, Crypto Technical Analysis. If you want to support me in crypto, mate, I'm all for it. Fuck yeah. I tend not to ever dispose of any of them. If people support me in crypto, I'll just hodl it. I'll hodl it. So whatever you give me, I'll hodl it. If you give me 100 Atom, I don't know what an Atom is worth at the minute. If you give me 100 Atom, and then you came back in the future and Atom was worth 100, it was worth $1,000 per Atom, then I'd have 100 grand that you'd have given me, right? I'd have 100 grand. And that's so cool, right? I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool, considering that we care about these things together, right? So that's cool. But you can do it any way you like, man. Any way you like. I really appreciate it. That Ghost of Jiu-Jitsu guy, hey man, Rocky Outcrop, much love to you, brother. Could you discuss the difference between Bollinger Bands versus Ichimoku Clouds, please? Absolutely. We'd love to. We'd love to. We'd love to, man. We'd love to. Let's do this. It's 3:10. That'll probably take us right through to the end of the show. We'd love to. We'd love to. Conditions have changed. Bring it on. Conditions have changed. Bring it on. Looking forward to Jamie's show this evening, where he's going to have to, I don't know, cope with. We've not quite changed. Not quite yet. So close. Whenever he has to kind of pick up the slack that I've left off for the day. It's funny sometimes, you know, a couple of times recently, like it's got to the afternoon period, it's been like, great, we're doing what we want to see doing, I'll see you later, catch you tomorrow. And then Jamie's had to come in the evening time and be like, no, oh my goodness. It's give and take. It's always give and take. What happens when you reach critical mass on YouTube? Imagine how good the channel would be if we were putting 50k a month into them. Just so you can see the benefits of a larger audience. Conditions have changed, bring it on. Just so you can see the benefits of a larger audience. I love all this. I love everybody out there talking. I'm not 100% following along with that bit of chat right there, but I love it. I love it. I love it. If you ever want to compare, say, example, Matt or Trey to Rocky. Oh, that's somebody's chatting about that. I don't talk about other YouTubers really, to be honest, at all. But go ahead and check them out. Check out the passion. I deliver on passion. Check out the humor. I deliver on humor. Check out the caring for people. I deliver on it. Check out me knowing your names. Check out me knowing what your lives are like and caring. Combine that with the worst technical analysis in the world and I'm still doing a pretty good job. But I tell you what, this stuff is good. My friends, what's the difference between the Ichimoku Cloud? What's the difference between the Ichimoku Cloud? Atom. Atom USDT is Atom, isn't it? Cosmos, that's right, Atom. Wow. Wow. One of the ones that's done better. I've not looked at this for a while. I'm glad I have. Are we still, or could we aim up to that 3.414? Where did that come in from, by the way? It's been a while. Weekend relief. What happens to crypto during the weekends? Look at these old lessons. So it's like, I don't piss about. Look at what we do here. Look at what we do on the channel. How can this not inspire you? As I say, my current mood is intellectually fine, academically fine. I'm really quite happy, really happy. But I just don't have the emotional capacity to process it. I don't. So it's all fucking all over the place. But whatever, it doesn't make a difference. Doesn't actually take away from the quality of the content. Just makes it a bit uncomfortable for people. I don't care. I really don't care. This is technical analysis. If you don't feel uncomfortable, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Fuck it, let's start again. Brilliant though. Right. We don't want the moving averages on here right now. Actually, we do. We do. My friend, what's the differences and how can you compare the Ichimoku Cloud to the Bollinger Bands? No problem. Now they're constructed in a very different way, but there is a degree of overlap between the Bollinger Bands and the Ichimoku Cloud. There's the Ichimoku Cloud for people who are wondering what it looks like. This is a white version of it. It is very much a stripped down white version of it, and it's missing one of the lines as well, the lagging span that'll pop on as well. Now your charts look extremely confusing, no doubt. Whereas there's actually the translation of Ichimoku Cloud, the full name of it from Japanese to English is the at a glance equilibrium indicator. So, you know, irony. Anyway, that's what that one looks like. This is what the Bollinger Band looks like, and we're going to be talking about the calculation for how you work this thing out. We're going to be talking about comparing, you know, your use cases. We're going to talk about what these things are, make a little bit of a comparison. It's not going to be the world's best comparison of them, but it's going to be a pretty good one, and we're going to do it together and have a good time. Thanks again, by the way, for everybody joining me. Always appreciated. Always smash that like. I love it when people smash that like button and leave a comment. Leave a comment. I read every comment and respond. Has anybody left a comment on the show and not ever had me hit heart and thumbs up on it? Ever? Let me know. Right. So what's the differences between the Ichimoku Cloud and the Bollinger Bands, and what would be one way to look at it? Well, there is a common component between the two of them, and it actually is a moving average. It's not a moving average, but it's conceptually there's a common component where you're looking at moving averages. Over here, then let's draw on those two moving averages. We've got these two lines, the yellow and the green line. They're both simple moving averages. Now, one of them is the 50 moving average and the other is the 200. And these are two moving averages that I tend to use on the chart on the show and in my own analysis all the time, because of course when you're looking at the 24-hour time frame as we are right here, and you're seeing the 200 and the 50 moving averages crossing over, as we can see here as that yellow line recently crossed over the green line on this chart, then you know that you've got a golden cross, which is an indicator to you of a bullish market. It's bullish trend, and you want to be following along with the bullish trend as long as you can. That's quite nice to see. Obviously, haven't seen in this retracement recently, but it's not the 200 simple period moving average that we're actually using to kind of introduce this concept. Instead, rather, it's the 20. So you've got two different indicators, and they both use as a component within them moving averages. Now the Bollinger Band itself uses the 20 simple period moving average, and the Ichimoku Cloud uses the 50 period moving average. So let's just take the 50 period moving average off of the chart for just now and pop on the Bollinger Band, so you can see how that lines up with the basis line. And oh my goodness, there it is, running through the middle of the Bollinger Band. So that's nice to be able to see that. Now, as you can see, take the Bollinger Band, leave the Bollinger Band, take the moving average off, and that is just where the Bollinger Band is. Take the Bollinger Bands off now and pop the moving averages back on, but actually change it over so that we're looking at, instead of the 20 period simple moving average, which is what that green line was, the basis line of the Bollinger Band, we're looking at the 50 simple period moving average. Right here, there is that yellow line, and that shares a similarity with the Ichimoku Cloud. Now, as I pop this on, you'll notice, and have I said something wrong or done something wrong here? Where is my... What's going on here? The conversion line is the 50%. It's 50%. It's not the 50 simple period moving average. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Have I just been completely... Wait a minute. I'm concerned with integrity and whether I've said something wrong here. It doesn't use the 50 simple period moving average. That's annoying. That's annoying. What the fuck have I done? What the fuck? Right. Scrap that. Scrap that last minute, by the way. Scrap that. It doesn't use the 50 simple period moving average. The basis line of the Bollinger Band is the 50% zone between the two. I just threw myself, by the way. It has the shares of similarity between the Donchian channels. That's what I've done so many times. I forgot for a second. How embarrassing. Anyway, whatever. Listen to myself. Right, let's take this thing over from the start. Let's take it from the start. I don't need the fucking 50 period. That's so funny. That's so fucking funny. Sorry about that. Right, I'm gonna just change this back to 200 anyway for my own uses because it's on my charts. So funny. I can't believe I messed that up. Like, well, I can because it's the only time I've gone a whole year and I think to myself after every episode, when am I going to make an egregious mistake on the show and get something completely wrong? I do it on Sunday for the first time ever on the show. Here we have it, and I've just done it kind of like for the second time pretty much ever in the show, making a big explanation halfway through. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm talking shite. Sorry about that. Enough with the shite talk, back onto the reality talk. Sorry about that. And I might clip this, so I want it as well. Extra embarrassing, right? Might clip it, so... Look, everybody makes mistakes, eh? Right. Hi, I'll do this from the start again, right? But we are going to talk about the moving averages. The thing about it is that conceptually you're looking at, look, actually I'll give you the explanation so you don't have to wait. Ichimoku Cloud, it shows you areas of potential equilibrium in the prices. Bollinger Bands over here, it shows you areas where the prices could come to and then find a potential reversal and then turn towards the median, where you can have a reversion to the median. And this is talking about a trend where the component of the Bollinger Band actually is like that moving average and the reversion towards the mean and the aspects about where something is in relation to where it is on average. Essentially, the stochastic of this thing. Now, look, I'm just talking about in terms of the word stochastic here, just in terms of the old word of what stochastic means, so you can understand. Stochastic, having a random probability distribution or pattern that may be analyzed statistically but may not be predicted precisely. I'm just talking about that. That is what's going on here as we look at the Bollinger Band, right? Anyway, the main differences then, therefore, as you can see, is that you're showing areas where the prices could potentially find equilibrium, etc., or you're finding areas where the prices could move to as part of a random scatter distribution. The predictive element, so to speak, of the Bollinger Band is to show you where, based on statistical probability, the prices could find themselves. Whereas the Ichimoku Cloud is based essentially off of the basis of where the prices have been in the past is where they're most likely to find equilibrium. Let me be very clear about that, because that is the main component difference between these two. So I'll just be very clear. This one, the Bollinger Band, is against using a basis line for a moving average, and it's a concept of where the scattered distribution of data points could be with relationship to an average over time, and I'm looking at the prediction based across standard deviation from where that average is. As we going forward and interacting with the prices at the time. Over here on the Ichimoku Cloud, what you're using is past price data projected into the future to show you where previous areas of price have been, to give you an equilibrium point combined with two moving averages in and of themselves. It's not a moving average in terms of the typical function of a moving average, or like we saw on the Bollinger Band, because it's calculated by looking at the highs and lows over a 26 period look back. And of course, as that changes and the line connects up, then the average 50%, the median price on a 26 period look back average, moving average. So the moving average typically is, and that's the entry into telling us, that's the entry to explaining this to people. Thank you for giving me a second to explain this to you. Those are the key bits that you need to know, and that I was also working through that allows me to explain this to people in a way that actually really will work for them. Hopefully, I think, give you that transformative knowledge, right? Like I say, there's always overlap over everything, and all these concepts together. Let's fucking go. Hi friends, you want to know about, actually I'll just hit the record button here locally for myself, and I'll actually run my intros as well. Nah, I'll not run the intros. Will I run the intros? I'll run the intros. Will I? Yeah. Hi friends, Rocky Outcrop here. Is that recording? Ah, shit. Hi friends, Rocky Outcrop here. You want to know how you can look at these things, price charts, with either the Bollinger Band or the Ichimoku Cloud, both at a glance indicators that can tell you how you might trade without having to, you know, draw loads onto the charts and move and diagonal lines and all this sort of stuff. Well, how about I break down what those indicators are and give you a brief idea about how to use them, and I'll do it by contrasting the two of them and their construction and the math behind them. My name's Rocky Outcrop, and I actually do daily live streams for technical analysis. Please do join me for them. This is an education video, part of my education playlist. Thanks for watching. Whoa, that's me in a big screen. Didn't mean that. Fuck. You know what? You know what? I want this to work. Right. Sorry for Andrew Mo Money and you, everybody. But I'm just going to make his way as I go through this process yet again. I'm going to just film that from the start again, right? Just going to do it from the start again. I'm not happy with it, right? And now, this leads to a funny thing where you can start off with a degree of momentum and then get into the video and start making fuck ups. And some of the audience is like, oh no, I don't like that. Anyway, screw it. This is the best I can do right now. And as you can see, I'm totally like, you know, I don't have any extra energy for anything else. So this is what we're going to do. Hello friends, I'm Rocky Outcrop. We do technical analysis here. That's when you look at charts just like this, and you might want to be able to look at them and say with at a glance, what's going on, and not have to draw diagonal lines, not have to draw Fibonacci's on, not interact with the chart so much to be able to get an idea of the price movements. Wouldn't it be good if there was an at a glance indicator? Well, there are two popular at a glance indicators. One, the Ichimoku Cloud, that is of course translates from the Japanese Ichimoku meaning at a glance, and then you've got the Bollinger Bands, which translates from the guy's name John Bollinger into bands. There you have it. Anyway, these two indicators which tell you where the prices could be and gives you an idea of things at a glance. Let's look at them, and wouldn't it be good to understand them, knowing how they're constructed, and also knowing then the differences between them and how you could use them in your own charts and what might be best for you. This is an education video brought to you by me, Rocky Outcrop. Hit that like button, share it with your friends, and thanks for joining me. First off then, how are we going to understand this? Well, let's understand as a concept what is a moving average, right? What's a moving average? Now, a moving average, and I know this isn't either of these indicators, but this is a moving average, and this moving average happens to be that's the 200 moving average. So I'm going to change that green line to be the 20 period moving average. Okie dokie. There's the 20 period moving average, and the 20 period moving average is a line where it's constructed using the mean average. You know, so you take all these numbers, so you go back 20 periods, you take the values of those numbers and you divide them by 20. There's your mean. That's an average. That's the basis line of the Bollinger Band. Now, if you were to take a standard deviation of how much typically these things have moved away from that average, then you'd be able to draw a line around and say, well, if we know that the standard deviation puts this up around about here and this around about here, then you maybe be able to have a line in the middle, which is a moving average, indeed a lagging indicator, whatever, and be able to say, well, if the prices typically coordinate within these two zones, within X, you know, distance away, and in this case, it's 2.5 standard deviation points, no, 2 standard deviation points, then you're looking at, what you're doing is you're looking at the Bollinger Band, and that's what this thing is made up by doing. Handy, right? So that's the basis of that one. Now, you also have a different type of average in the world, and it's not a mean average. It's wherever you look at the median price. Now, the median price is, of course, and I'm just changing this back so I don't forget later to my own standard settings, and then I'll hide it off the chart. So the median price between something is whenever you look at the extreme high, the extreme low, and then you go, where was the middle? And that is simply when you look at the 50% between two zones. So for instance, from here down to here, using a Fibonacci retracement tool to give you this idea, the 50% line is in here. 50% line is in here. Now that would be halfway between the high I'll just remove this. That'd be halfway between the high up here and the low down here. That's halfway. That's just one single data point though. Well, if I was to continually do it and marking halfway between here and here, and halfway between here and here, and halfway between here and here, and here and here, and here and here and here and here and here and here, and here, what you would end up with is a line that moves along, that is an average, but that average is a median average. Now that is one of the main constructors of the Ichimoku Cloud, and I'm going to show you that right here, right now, by popping the Ichimoku Cloud onto the charts. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you hiding? In there, right, yo. And if I bring this up and show you the settings real quick of it as well, it's got a look back period, and that look back period is 26 periods. So we're looking back 26 periods for the high. So this is where we are now. Let's find how far back 26 periods was. Here, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 blah. This thing counts for me, so I don't need to count. And that is 26 here. 26. So somewhere between this low, the low during the period, so it's the lowest low, and it is indeed that one, that starting candle, and the highest high during the period, and it's one of these two here, then we will find the 50% line. And when we do, it will line up with the baseline of the Ichimoku Cloud, the baseline. So I'll just leave that there for just now, and we can see if I'm correct. Let's hope I am. Was it this one? Was it this one? Oh gosh, I've forgotten which one it was. Ha! How embarrassing during an education video for my perennial educational evergreen playlist. Oh, it was this one down here. Right, sweet. So this one up to this one. Those are our two extreme points. Here's the 50% in here. Here's the 50% in here. So, does that line up? Have I done this wrong? Oh my God. I'm not going to publish this if it's still wrong. Anyway, that's what that is, right? This 50% line. I've done something wrong there. The low is, was that lower? Where were we? Where's the high? Whatever. 50% line, that's what the baseline is of the Ichimoku Cloud. I've actually got a whole episode that lasts for an hour where I break down the Ichimoku Cloud in detail. So if you want to see that episode in and of itself, go ahead and watch that. It's in the playlist as well. It's very, very, very good. And I do all that Fibonacci nonsense for you. All I'm really trying to show you is that you've got these lines. Now so you've got different components here. So the Ichimoku Cloud's got a whole lot more going on with it. You've got different chunks of stuff. So I'm just going to remove everything else and show you where this is. And you can see, so here's one of the lines, and that's this 50% point here. And you can also then look at the conversion line. Now, it's called the conversion line in English because when this thing crosses over the other one, you get signals. So you've got signals. So if I make these two different colors, and you can see when the yellow line crosses the red line, it's good. And when the yellow line crosses the red line, it's bad. And you can trade with that trend. So you've got an at a glance moving average cross in there, and that doesn't exist on the Bollinger Band. That's just one moving average you've got in the Bollinger Band. Here you have a moving average and a moving average of the moving average, right? So it's closer to the MACD in that sense in terms of how it's calculated. Again, go and watch that Ichimoku Cloud video if you want to have it broken down in extreme detail. Then you've also got another component, and that is the cloud itself. Now, if you're wondering why I have these things white, it's because at this period in time when I'm making live videos, I'm educating people by taking all the colors away so that they're forced to look at things more critically. That's what that is. Anyway, you've got the lead span and the lagging span, and between them you can draw a cloud, which is colors. And these are calculated, and again, you can watch that video to find out how, by taking information from the past and projecting it out into the future. In fact, that might be where that might be where that, whatever, it doesn't matter. Projecting it out to the future, and that tells you where you might have equilibrium points. So the full name of the Ichimoku Cloud is Ichimoku Equilibrium Identifier thingy, and you can see here that these areas are showing you where you could find equilibrium. Now, so often with these zones, you go through at the most narrowest point. As we can see here, we went through at the narrow point there, and as you can see here, we went through at a narrow point. We can also find that at the area of the cloud itself that we so often find support, as you can see there. You can see that we find support in here on the cloud. Whoops. You can see. You can't see anything. What happened? Sorry about that. Don't know if this will make it onto the playlist at the end of the day. Well, I endeavoured to answer the question, eh? That's the basics. That's the basics. So yeah. Right, so you can see we find support at this area, and that's distinct to the Bollinger Band, because what you're looking at in the Bollinger Band as well is not that this is an area of a pivot point, as this could be described here. As you can see, when we broke down past it, the prices, of course, moved down a bunch, and then as you see here, this is like a pivot as well, where you can find in that zone a degree of equilibrium. Where things are balanced, and that to move beyond one half of the balance, you know, on your seesaw, if this is your point of equilibrium and the prices are moving up the seesaw and then everything tips over, then you've got your equilibrium point here as being important, and that's what we have with these. I hope that little kind of analogy helps understand, and that's what the cloud is for. So then you can say, well, then what is the difference between the Bollinger Band and the Ichimoku Cloud in terms of the interaction with the prices? And as you can see here, as we're trending up, that we trace the upper line of the Bollinger Band. As we're trending down, we trace the lower end of the Bollinger Band. You see tracing it, and that these two zones, the upper area of the Bollinger Band and the lower area, the area above the basis line, below the basis line, the area above the 20-period moving average, the area below the 20-period moving average, define bearish or bullish zones where the prices are operating bullishly or bearishly, as you would expect, because when the prices are simply put above a moving average, it's bullish, or below a moving average, it's bearish. Right, great. So we can see all those sorts of differences there between them. Now, let me just add more to the Ichimoku Cloud, because there's a lot more components to it. We know that we've got a cloud, and we know that we've got those. Conversion and baselines. So we get signals, and we've got a cloud. So we can also combine that together and say, well, hey, if we get a signal while we're below the cloud, we know that we're below a point of equilibrium that may or may not actually work in our favor. If we get a signal when we're above the cloud, then you know that we've already begun to trend. How? Well, for us to get a signal above the cloud, now this is going super deep now. You need to have the lines move above the cloud, and if the prices move above the cloud first, right? The prices move above the cloud first, then the lines follow along, as you can see here, and then you would need to have a retest back down the way, because the lines would need to cross over the base and conversion line to then subsequently be able to cross above the cloud. Because you'll notice that the conversion line and the baseline don't cross above the cloud before it's had a retest. They don't. Therefore, you're looking for a retest, which is a successful retest. And a successful retest normally goes along the lines of having higher highs and higher lows, etc., and indicates that you've got a trend. So your at a glance indicator is showing you areas of equilibrium where you know you've got your swing, where things might change a wee bit if the weight goes over. You know, you're getting your conversion line where you've got two moving averages, which when they cross give you a signal. You've got the relationship of the price to the cloud and to the conversion lines to tell you when you've got a signal that's happening above or below the cloud, and so on and so forth. Now you've even got another line on here, which is the lagging span, and you can use this as a qualifier on trades, you know, to say, well, really, are we actually above the cloud, etc. And you'll notice that the lagging span is actually just the price. Now I'll just delete all my drawings here real quick. It's actually just the price action projected into the past. You can see here, this is the price action, and this is the lagging span. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's just this is a line chart. So this is a line chart, just like if I were to turn the chart into a line chart. So I'll just do that so you can see real quick. Look, line chart. The lagging span, right, and the prices are exactly the same. So let me just get rid of the rest of the stuff here. Oh, shit. Back off. Right, let me get this here. So we'll take away everything else. So here's your lagging span. And there's the price action itself, the only things on the screen. And look at it, right? The price action projected into the past. Exactly, right? So what's the point in this thing? What is the point in this thing? Well, obviously, inside your own head, you would be able to obviously just kind of imagine this yourself. But at a glance, it shows you where the current prices are in relationship to where the previous support and resistance was as it had been projected out into the future. So let me just show you real quick again the projection of the thing. So I mean, obviously the Ichimoku Cloud has got far many more working parts to it, but you can see they're both at a glance indicators, right? So you've got the cloud projected out into the future, and you can see the span here in relationship to where the cloud is, etc. So over here, and there's many different ways of using this thing, but over here you can see that the cloud is so far away from this. It's going to be 56 periods away from where the cloud is. That's where the lagging span is going to be so far from the cloud, because it takes time. It takes, not only does the chart have to move forward, the current price move forward 26 periods, but then another 26 periods has to move forward for this to be beyond the point at where the prices are, i.e. for this to be above this cloud, for this lagging span to be above this cloud, then the prices, then it has to have moved forward 26 periods to catch up, and 26 periods to catch up with where the cloud had been projected from in the future, which means that overall you're getting an overlap to understand where the prices are in relationship to the trend that has been happening, which can be a qualifier for your trading. Okay, so then how could you use these things differently? Let me just stick the price action back on again properly, and the cloud itself. So wait, candles up here, regular candles, and then the cloud itself. Well, there's the cloud there, and the other lines. Ding dong. So the lead line and the second lead line, they wrap around the cloud. You know, you don't have to have the cloud, you don't have to have the lead lines, etc. It's good, it works together. I've made them all white because I don't see their point in being any different colors, myself personally, and it helps force people to see it differently. But you can see here that it's easy to identify which one the baseline is, because it's a moving median across the biggest and across the extreme movements over a period of time. It's the moving median line. So you're going to get periods when the 50% line moves sideways for a wee while. So it's quite easy to identify without having to look at what these things are, color them, which one is which in a sense, right? Because you can see these staccato movements giving you that idea. Okie dokie. You can see that so you can look out for crosses. You can look out for finding support if we were to drop back down. Why? Well, because this price action, which has created this cloud here, it came from previous price action that was projected out into the future. So this price action here forms this cloud, and then the prices maybe come back down and retest it. And what does that mean they're doing? It means they're retesting areas of support and resistance. This is the 24-hour time frame. You can use it on all sorts of time frames, of course, as well. So when you're looking at this cloud is 6 months ago price action projected into the future. This lagging span is current price action projected 6 months into the past. Whenever the past overtakes the future, then you're looking at price action over the period of a year instantly in comparison to each other. It's an instant comparison. So understanding the trend, understanding the movements within it, etc., those are the options that you have with the Ichimoku Cloud. Reverting back over to the Bollinger Band again, understanding how the prices are moving with regards to the average price. It's just a relationship of price versus price right here and now. Then you get to see, and what you're looking for, of course, is to trace this thing towards the top side. Then you look between movements within the bullish zone or indeed within the bearish zone. You look to see if we get bounces at these areas, if we want to oscillate between them. And there's various other things. And indeed, I have education videos in my playlist for not only this and the Ichimoku Cloud, but also a comparison between the Bollinger Bands and all the other types of channels. There's a very good one where I compare the Bollinger Bands, the Donchian Cloud, and the Ichimoku Cloud gets a little look in at that point. Not the Donchian channels. The Ichimoku Cloud gets a mention during that. The Keltner channels, the VWAP, all these channel indicators, and the Bollinger Band included in that as well. By all means, look at the education playlist, and you'll get a benefit from that. I hope I've given you some sorts of insights into these two different indicators, how they operate differently, how you could use them for different purposes. As you can see over here, the movement down in this volatility came right down to the Bollinger Band, for example, in this period just here. And in terms of Ichimoku Cloud, where is it? Over here. You can see that we didn't test the Ichimoku Cloud. We didn't. Now, looking back in the past, looking back in the past at things, and here you can see that we tested the top end of the Bollinger Band and the Ichimoku Cloud at the same time, but how would you know where the prices were going? Well, here we traced the Ichimoku cloud towards the downside here, resisted by it all the way down the way there. Here we attack the Ichimoku cloud through the narrowest point, as is so often the case with Ichimoku cloud. It looks kind of like this, and the price action comes along, and then it goes boo through the narrowest point of the cloud. It's another little tip for you. Why? Well, because that's the area of least resistance, isn't it? And there you go. So there's a whole scope. Now, that's just a taster. I hope this actually just leaves you feeling inspired to go on and try and learn more about the indicator that you want to know. If that involves looking at my playlist, then fantastic. Do that. Check it out. And if it involves going and reading work by John Bollinger, he's still alive. You know, he's alive. He's like 60 something. You can go and do that as well. 70, 80. I don't know. He's a white-haired dude. You can do all that. You can talk to him on Twitter if you want, right? You can do anything you want. I would encourage you to like and subscribe to this video, though. So thanks so much. Right. Thanks. Like I say, hit the like button. And that brings us right through to the end of the show. It is 43 past. That whole section to be far longer, far hard. Oh shit! Stop recording. That to be far longer than I ever wanted it to do. Right, but and I don't even know if it's any good value. Right. The ghost of that jiu-jitsu guy sent $2 through super chat, and he said at the time, I wish I could afford to donate more for this lesson. Thank you so much. D Harker, back from holiday, donated $24.99 through super chat. What a legend. D Harker, cool that you had a time with your brother, man. I love my brother. You love your brother. Good stuff. It's good that you're friends. So glad that you're back as well. Cockroach Rancher sent $5. Rocky and Jamie are steak and eggs for the brain. Love you both. Thank you so much. Jordan Buchanan became a member earlier on. It kind of catches me up mostly with what it is. I'm going to just read back through these, though, at the end of the show here, because we're doing the reverse roll call, and I really do appreciate everybody joining me for the show. And if you are leaving on the way out, be sure to hit that like button and all that. But stick around for this as well. The Ghost of That Jiu-Jitsu Guy, thank you so much. D Harker, thank you so much. Aaron, thank you so much. Jordan, thank you so much. Bulldog Buchanan, thank you so much. I took my keys to his... No, I wrote my name in his leather... whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Smashed up the headlights, wrote my name in his leather seat on his souped-up four-wheel drive. Yeah, right. Bulldog, Rocky's TA brings all the apes to the yard. Damn right is better than yours. Oh, that's so nice. Thanks so much. Ding, 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 ding. Jordan, thanks for becoming a member. Brian Mullen donated 20. Been busy over the last couple of weeks. Oh, I caught up. Excellent. Nice one. Brilliant. Nice one. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Fantastic. So just real quick here before we start to say proper Cheerios. GME 190 at the minute. Good to see. AMC at the minute. 39, it's below 40. I want it to be above 40. 40, then 44. Topside targets being below 40. We don't like that. AHT over here, a couple of things we've been trading recently. 1506 doing good, being above 15, very good. EVGO, how's it doing? It's currently 793. Nice, good resurgence. Gap below but filled in on the big time frames. We can leave those. If this is ridiculous and those become breakaways, then fantastic. We might fill them in again in the past, in the future. Of course, looking here and just let me see if I've got any corresponding ones down below here. So we're looking okay, but there are of course gaps down here. I mean, we could still wait out if you're looking for buy on this thing for 730 probably. But anyway, what else do we have that we like to look at? AMAT, it's at $5. Okay, AMAT, it's at 137.44, up near that 138 area, tracing the middle line of the Bollinger Band, not succeeding quite yet. Could result down, could still look down the way to 132. We're between posts on this one. IPGP, has this turned around at all yet? Nope, not yet. Still suffering on this one. I've got a gap on, a flash on here that I'm looking to get filled in on. Down at this most recent low. I do believe that this will happen, but I'm not wanting to do any other analysis on this one, to be frank. This is like one of the wee ones that I'm testing in a sense. I've got an Ichimoku, I've got a Fibonacci on here just to kind of see as we go. But really, I'm looking to see if we can just trade this based off of this flash alone, giving us then another great value buy, I suppose, on that front. And what else is there? I don't know. Who cares, right? That's enough of that. That's enough of that, right? Bitcoin, all that stuff. There's enough of that, right? Wave Speech, thank you so much. Tradespawn, thank you so much. Dirty Jers, what benefits you the most outside of YouTube? What benefits me the most outside of YouTube? Is it's hard to say. When it comes to my future, should cryptocurrencies go up loads on the long term, then it would be that. In terms of my immediate life outside of YouTube, maybe it's PayPal donations, because I think they work out cheapest in that sense, and it's cash. Don't have to transfer things around so much. And then there's other ways of doing things, I suppose, as well. There's other ways of doing things as well, I suppose. Are you a member of the Discord, matey? Because just join the Discord there, and we can chat in there. You can send me a message. I do say that people that from next week I'll be blocking people from sending me messages, but you can actually send me a message and we can chat there, and won't have to get my milkshake out too much in the yard here. The Dead Money All Stars, exactly, KT. We do our thing and grow, exactly. Thank you so much, girl in the yellow dress. Super excited to see you from the West Coast. Thanks for tuning in from California. It's lovely to see you. I love that sunset. I wonder if that was taken from something like the beach up at Monterey or Carmel, or if that was from, or if that's looking out over that, what do you call that beach, the one that's the Spanish name beach down there, just like between San Diego and Los Angeles, these beautiful places that I love to visit whenever I get the chance. Tradespawn, thank you so much for tuning in. KT, great to see you as ever. Ghost of that Jiu-Jitsu guy, much love to you too, brother. Worth his life, always good to see you. You're an inspiration as well. Thanks for being a part of what we do here. Christy Callahan, thank you so much as well for everything that you do. DNTKWYI Cats. Rocky, I don't have much to give, but here's a virtual hug. Thank you so much. It's appreciated, and really do make sure you come back and you subscribe to all this stuff. Nat2, eye conditioner, very important. Of course it is. Sarah Dino dropping in the conditioner chat and some hearts there. Supernova, Rocky brother, if you need a couple of days to rest, we're going to be here when you get back. Yeah, maybe I do, but tomorrow I think I'll just chat. Tomorrow I'll do the show. I've committed to doing it every day, man. But emotionally and that, I'll not do any education tomorrow. You can see I put a lot of effort into the education. You can see that I also want it to be accurate and try as hard as I can to be complete. And the cost of that is sometimes a bit much. So tomorrow I think I'll just chat. People can tune in and tune out. I don't care what the stats are like. You don't have to be here. I'll just chat. We can just chat about whatever. Spend a couple hours chatting. We can look at the markets from time to time. Chat with some TA involved, as opposed to what we're doing here. Neon Rave, thanks so much for being here again. I know why other YouTubers got such a big audience. A friend showed me they all buy views. Such a scammy assholes. Didn't know this was still possible. Yeah, it is. That's another thing. They all buy views. I don't buy views. I've never done that in my life. You know what though? Somebody I do believe has attacked my channel in the past by black hatting me and getting me stuff like that in the past. So that can happen. Rocket Crypt, did you book the appointment? I didn't book the appointment. I'm going to book the appointment. I looked last night, Sal. I looked last night at what they've got and it was and I didn't want to. It was too late for me to book it last night, and today I'll book it. But I also want to try and organize things. I'm actually really quite bad at doing anything. And you know what? The truth is, like, I put all my energy into this, and I talk about fitness and everything else. I'm talking about these things exhaust me. So I'll do it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you next time.